Welcome back to HGC Europe as we gear up for game number 3 between Team Liquid and the Leftovers. Now, game number 1 had some question marks around it. Was Team Liquid in a great spot with their new roster, or was Leftovers an incredible team that kept them close even though Team Liquid got the victory? Game 2 kind of answered these questions as Team Liquid was pretty unleashed going into Towers of Doom.
Yeah, if Team Liquid can perform on the same level on the third map, then it's going to be a very quick evening for the Leftovers. But we can assume that they have a few more strategies prepared for the next map here. But at this point, Team Liquid is leading with 2 against 0. So all they need is one more map win.
Well, let's go ahead. Start game at number 3 as we move into the battleground. It's going to be Dragonshires. The choice is Leftovers as we move in, meaning the first pick will be for Team Liquid. And we'll see if they can pull off a victory. As Leftovers, great in game number 1, but game number 3, we're going to need to see a little bit more pizzazz, I think.
Yeah, also when it comes to it's going to be an interesting map for them. I want to see if maybe we get to see that Lauber ETC at some point now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it necessarily is the linchpin here, but he didn't really have the same impact on Murden on the last map. Overall, they struggled a little bit with the lineup that they were using. So it's their map choice now. Towers was chosen by Team Liquid, so at this point, if you go into Dragonshire, then it is a map, but you feel confident, and I want to see that confidence reflected in their playstyle.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the ETC or the Johanna, and I want to see that Sonya again. That Sonya on Infernal Shrines played earlier was phenomenal. So maybe some more Sonya here for Team Leftovers as we get ready for this third game. On the other side, Team Liquid, just do what you do best, man. Gul'dan seems to be paying off for them really well in terms of controlling the fight and the Horrifies.
Yeah, the wave clear also allows them to really put the pressure on the entire time. So you could see that on the lanes. With the wave clear being as superior as theirs was, they always had faster rotations that really helped them too. But overall, Gul'dan, again, has a huge priority. Horrify is and always was such an amazing heroic ability. But even when someone dives you and tries to kill you, if you pull it off properly and you have someone else near you that can follow up on it, you can turn an attempt on you into an immediate kill for a team.
Always good there. Looking at the third on the top lane slot against the possible Sonya that's coming their way. Honestly, I kind of have a small special place in my heart for a third on his Artanis gameplay. I think he was one of the first players to show that off last year. Artanis, however, though, kind of hurting in this meta. The wave clear on him isn't the greatest.
If Artanis is played by Eternal on Dragonshire, I'm going to buy you a car.
It's actually pretty good on Dragonshire. You get that full one-on-one action, man. Shield Surge at 4, follow through level 7.
Of course it is. Just
pretty destructive.
Just not in a game you want to win.
This guy. One day you'll come around to some of the good picks that are floating around out there. I'm not asking for Chen, okay? I'm asking for Artanis. I feel like you can come over here on this one.
Wait. Chen way more than Artanis.
Really?
Of course. I mean, maybe not quite now compared, but hello? Fnatic on Sky Temple, other teams on Dragonshire. How often have we seen Chen on
last year when we had ammo on our turrets. Ammo doesn't exist. Welcome to 2018, Caldor.
Okay, so you mean just exclusively now? I thought as a
yeah, man.
Thing. There are certain comps with Artanis where, for example, when we're talking about the Battlefield of Eternity, well, I would be with you, but
yeah.
Don't get carried away here.
Whenever he says yeah, you know he's done. You know he's done with the conversation. Yeah, and so. All right, let's move into it. It's going to be Dragonshire here. Leftovers versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid with a nice lead, 2-0. Team Liquid with the first ban, and it will be a Genji.
Yeah, and with Genji, you always have a situation where you have Hanzo open as a potential pick. You just remove Genji in general. So that ban by now makes a lot more sense than in the past. In the past, it was usually the second team that banned Genji out because you want to deny it to your opponent. But since Genji is one of the best counters against Hanzo, that always opens up a stronger Hanzo play for yourself if you want to go for that. But just overall, having Genji dive into your backline is something that very few teams are comfortable with. Leftovers, they head into a potential ban on it's Hanzo this time. So no Grain, no Abathur. I want to see if that might be one of the games where Team Liquid
moves into it. The Greymane?
Oh, Greymane would be a fantastic pick one way or another, but even an Abathur could be a good choice.
Oh, yeah. Especially on this battleground. A lot of people look at it on Dragonshire and like, oh no, you don't have the extra body. You're not able to grab the dragon. But Abathur bolsters.
Yep,
there
we go.
That top lane so well. If you get a lane bully and you give them a hat, top lane's not losing, period.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you have a good 3-man that can clear waves and you're good.
For the And it's always fantastic if you have an Abathur. So that's never really the issue. And this is one of the maps where, as you said, we don't see it as high as a priority in the past, but I think that is definitely going to change. Again, it's Abathur in Europe. What I want to see is if other regions follow up on the priority that Europe gives Abathur, because we've seen Trick ban out Abathur over and over again in our early series. We see a very similar style now as well. I could see North America, for example, once again just not really caring about the hero, since Abathur never really had that much of an impact in the North American meta. That might have changed since then, but it's still something that I would expect to see then later on when we compare the metas of the regions. And Liquid is getting dangerous already. They are going into Greymane, which shocks me that Greymane wasn't picked up by Leftovers earlier, but they prioritized Gul'dan, and we have now Arthas. That setup for Liquid is already insane.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting the Greymane and then possibly the Dohaka. The Gul'dan makes sense to try and take it away, but you're not going to get a Gul'dan with Abathur, at least in the first couple of rotations, right? They definitely want that Greymane, so Leftovers giving it away. It feels like a giant mistake on their side here. Having an Arthas with a hat and a Greymane with a hat are both viable options here for our Abathur player, and this foundation for Team Liquid is killer.
I mean, again, Greymane was involved in every single game that we played so far. So similar to Hanzo, he's been involved in every game that has been played today. And for me personally, there was just absolutely no doubt that if the Leftovers don't pick Greymane up, it's going to end up in the hands of Team Liquid. And if you then have Abathur in that mix as well, I personally would not have risked that. So at this point, Rega is being banned out by the Leftovers, removing at least the panic button on Team Liquid side. We don't have seen a tank commitment yet. What's Team Liquid gonna ban here though?
ETC.
ETC, removing one from Lauber.
I was wondering if Ariel would be a decent ban here, but I think Ariel's kind of fallen off pretty hard for a lot of our teams.
Yeah, for sure.
ETC banned out now, and now it's about the support and probably and most likely that main tank here for Leftovers. You want someone in the front line that can clear. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that Johanna once again here. Great with the Gul'dan, they mix together well, keep that front line nice and bolstered, and you can also clear the waves.
Johanna or Muradin, those are the two choices that I feel they have at this point. So if they go into Muradin, then they have a good stun setup that helps also Dehaka once he tries to connect with the Drag. It's a comp that they more or less at the front line use last map, but this time they head into Johanna again. And Alexstrasza is being picked for the heals.
Okay, Alexstrasza, the dragon. Boy, is she quite fearsome whenever she transforms into that dragon mode.
Yep.
A lot of scenarios where you are going into a fight. If you are not immediately winning that team fight and you see dragon form come out for the Alexstrasza, your best course of action is to run away, because they will run you over, and that attack range that she provides is deadly at best. So Alexstrasza coming in is giving Leftovers some team fight potential.
Alex is incredibly strong on Infernal, for example, as well, just simply because you have that focused fight on one center point where she can first of all use Dragon Form to basically push you off the point and say, okay, it's similar to Odin, how it's used by Tychus, where you can say, okay, I'll pop that now and we're going to get this one particular Punisher, or when Ragnaros tries to use his own trait to confirm an objective. So it's similar, and of course, heroes are way more likely to stack up, which gives you ult more power, but also your heal. So Alex on Infernal is great. Can also be strong on other maps. This case now, Liquid again with Uther, Greymane, so Divine Shield. Ooh, that is an interesting touch though.
Zarya.
Yep.
Okay. I actually kind of like it. With the Zarya composition, typically what that illustrates is that you want to pick a lane and stick to that lane. You want to be able to push it in, and you want to be able to grab shields, get her energy nice and built up, fill the heat build, even a Q build, and just be aggressive on the turrets. Without there being on the field here, typically you want to have a kind of tampered early game, right? Yeah. You don't want too much coming your way. Zarya brings that pain that could allow here for Leftovers to open up the map a little bit.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much that can do for them.
Usually you do it with an auto-attacker. Gul'dan's what makes it weird for me.
I like that they throw a bit of a curveball. I don't hate that at all. So they're going into the Zarya composition against this. I would say overall, when we're looking at Team Liquid, they have a lineup that they should be quite good. The Auric can always be the top lane, can have a really good time there. Especially with Abathur, you can't lose the solo lane. The question then is, how do you deal with the 4-man that Leftovers are throwing against you with Zarya?
With them having Greymane, they'll be able to poke occasionally, but the issue that you're running into is, what if you cocktail a shield? and you get free energy. So it is going to be on the difficult side, and it's quite the mix-up, and I'm okay with it. Let's go ahead and find out how it's going to work out here as we move into Dragonshire. Leftovers showing off the Zarya gameplay and Alexstrasza on their side. We got a little bit more of a meta composition. Will it work out here for Team Liquid?
The last chance for the Zealots to make this series a little bit more interesting, since we have Team Liquid in a 2-0 lead right now. And to the left side, we have the leftovers, not the Zealots, with Polyboss on Zarya, linked on Alexstrasza, DAB on Gul'dan, Lauber on Johanna again, and Blakidney on Dehaka.
On the right side in the red, Team Liquid. Nurok will be here showing off his gray main sport billy on Arthas, Splendor on Uther, a third on Lurk, and Hasuov will be your Abathur player for the game.
And also Abathur immediately heading straight into the shield build, and that is something that we are seeing mainly from Team Liquid. So the regenerative microbes have been taken here. A lot of other teams would go straight into a symbiote build, especially when we're looking at Arthas and also on Greymane as the potential head targets. Symbiote targets. That's definitely one of the things to consider here. But Liquid has always been one of the teams that when they play Abathur, they are very open to different build variations. We have seen Toxic Nest builds, Symbiote builds, and of course also in this case, again, the shield build.
Already, seeing Zarya trying to get some value on that bottom side. Every time a shield is popped, Team Liquid walks away right away, not allowing for any burst to come in and allow that Zarya to get that energy built up, which will allow for her to start working on the turrets. Sport Billy is pushing in here. Notice how he drops the Tempest. Again, trying to prevent the shields from being effective. They turn around, they focus Zarya, and they get the kill.
Yeah, Polyboss goes down. Splendor, on the other hand, might also fall if they can somehow get close enough again, but Abathur's already there helping out, and Uther is able to walk away. So Zarya being the first kill in the game here.
Zarya does pretty well in Hero League if you're wanting to play her, because you don't have that coordination that we just saw from Team Liquid, where you find her, get the target, and you put everything you have into killing her. You can put the shields, finish up the kill afterwards as well, but don't be afraid to try out Zarya as well. You're seeing these shields come out constantly. You can have a lot of success with her, but Team Liquid knows her weakness, and that's the moment that her cooldowns are not up and available, she will fall victim if she's not already in the fight.
I love how both of these teams, by the way, going just away from Zarya for a second, are really committing quite heavily to the early night camps here. So with the camps now spawning this earlier, question that we had in the previous games was how fast do you really commit to them? And at this point we're not only seeing the Siege Giants taken, it's also about the night camps, and with a very high priority at that. That puts an insane amount of pressure onto the top lane as Team Liquid moves in there with leftovers. But if you look at the bot lane right now, they really sync up both night camps together with that Zarya push. So now we have, sorry, one night camp and a Siege Giant camp, of course. So this is an intense push against Team Liquid, and they need to be really careful here.
And Abathur does not help much with defending this. He'll drop in a couple of hats, a couple of W as well here and there. Team Liquid has brought Leo all the way from top lane to push down the fight. Now, if they can get a kill, that'd be great, and they might here on DAB as they focus him down. Alexstrasza, though, with the big Dragon Fork comes in, brings a knockback. Nurok gets slow. He's going to have to try and escape. He's low, but he barely survives.
Yeah, he barely dodges that Gul'dan damage, and that was a close call. But just look at how we are seeing the bot lane open up right now. If they can at least take down that fountain, that would be fantastic. Dehaka, in the meantime, has still maintained up at the top. So that was for the longest time a 4 versus 5 that we actually saw there. And Dehaka is now moving between top and mid lane, trying to make sure that he mirrors Leoric's wave clear so that they don't lose out on any experience. But the pressure is still on leftovers. They want structure damage.
That they do. Abathur's going to take the top shrine here. Try and prevent leftovers from grabbing the dragon. Dehaka coming down. Goes in, wants to get a tongue, but with Therno dropping the Wraith Walk, he'll be just fine. Howling Bless. Quest. Finishing up here for Arthas, which will be pivotal later on when we get post 10. Team Liquid right now is just holding on. They realize, they understand, we're probably going to lose a couple of structures here, and they have, and maybe even a fort. But if they can get the 10 safely here and keep their keeps alive, that's when the Abathur composition will come online.
And it's also a matter of experience, how much you lose and gain. And so far, Team Liquid is actually doing extremely well, considering how much they lost in structures. At this point, they're going in against Splendor with the next stun. Gul'dan, always the primary target, and he falls. Nurok moves out barely, but he does. Sport Billy also on the run here. Lauber is trying to chase him down and is likely to get him with the help of Blakidney on Dehaka. They're going to get counter kill it. And another one as well, as Greymane has also been eliminated. So the kill against Gul'dan Team Liquid is able to make it happen, but they pay dearly as they lose too.
Yeah, Leftovers is fine with that. Them taking the fort on the bottom side. They were hoping to get a dragon here, but Abathur is being a bit of a nuisance. Goes to the top side and takes away the shrine right away. Dehaka burrows down for a little bit longer, so Hostile Ops doesn't mind being this far forward in bushes, especially if his opponent doesn't know where he is currently at. 7-7 for our teams, and Leftovers is starting for round 2 here as they grab the Giants on the left side. And they're making a play to invade on the bottom right, taking their opponents. And if they get Nurok, they definitely can.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. But there's immediately the reaction from Abathur. I mean, overall, when you're just looking at the build here now too, sustained carapace taken from Abathur, and on 7 he went into Mule, so they are already realizing that there's of course going to be heavy siege pressure against them, so Mule is going to help out against that slightly. With the rest of the builds, just mentioning with Alexstrasza, we have Live and Let Live on level 1, and then we have Exuberance on level 4, so getting a little bit of a movement speed advantage. So far Alex is doing pretty well here with a Life Blossom of 7. Alex is definitely helping out in a lot of these cases, and we saw already the power of the Dragon form used a bit earlier. So in that 4-man setup that they are currently throwing at Team Liquid at that bot lane, she really excels.
I'm actually interested in how much Leo has been rotating on the map here, trying to put a thorn in the side of Leftovers, doing a lot of movement and relying on Abathur to make sure he soaks that top lane. He's even setting up another flank. Thurno comes in. They'll get the Howling Blast on top of the Goldan. He's getting low. DAB will fall. Dragon Form being utilized, so Nurok will be focused down, and he is taken out, which means Team Liquid doesn't have any damage, and a Thurnal, he's taken away too.
Yeah, 2 down again. That leaves Abathur at the top lane solo. So the interesting part of what we've seen so far the entire time is just how Liquid moves into these. Their main target is always Gul'dan. Every time they move in and try and drop Gul'dan, Leftovers are trying to keep him alive for as long as they possibly can. But when they can't save him, they always look for the counter kills, and they again found 2. So that really works for them to this point, but Liquid can still make these sacrifices because the death timers are still pretty low and they are on the defensive side. So everything that happens in this game is currently happening on their side of the map. So they have also a very close shot between their own and then moving straight back into fight for the defense. Now the level 10 setup hit, this entire map in the early game is going to change a little bit because the fire is available Gul'dan. So you can't just mindlessly start to engage upon him any longer because he can always drop that Horrify and then the Leftovers can try to pick the affected targets.
And Team Liquid has weathered the storm. They got the 10 here. They grab them both Night Camp, which is a nice little small brilliant move there. Good call as they're able to took out the fort in the top left corner. And now all they have to do is make sure this keep stays alive. They head in. Sport Billy leading the charge first. They're working on that Wizard on the backside to get rid of that spell aura that is floating around, while Team Liquid deals with Leftovers that continues to push in.
Yeah, and the Leftovers really want that keep right now, and they are doing extremely well with this. Here comes the Mule, and the Leftovers have to commit. If you need to make that fight at some point. Dehaka needs to move out as well, and he's currently already doing that. Potiboss moving in, trying to get the heals, doesn't get it just yet. Alex pulls the ult out, goes in, drops the damage and the heals. Yeah, Zarya falls, shortly followed from Uther. Exchange in kills. Hazu with a copy here, still has it available, and in the meantime there's the double camp at the top lane and the Mule repairing the keep at the bottom. The Team Liquid get Johanna, they get Dehaka, and they go for Alex.
Splendor making that fight work. Land the Divine Shield on Neuro, so stay in a little bit longer, get that little more damage as we have Hostile Ups come on the clone and go in for the kill.
Yeah, look at the top lane. That double camp that we had earlier is doing so much work right now. And the big problem for the Leftovers is that what they did looked actually solid, but the problem is that the Mule that we've seen taken on level 7 by Hazops with Abathur is now just going to repair that keep at the bot lane to eventually full health. And in the meantime, we have a Dragonite in the mid lane, Liquid. They've weathered the storm, basically. This is really the time where they are saying, okay, guys, from here on out, we have the edge.
And they bring their own Hurricane here. With the fort in the middle taking damage, they're going to open up the bottom lane while Leftovers defends. They even bring the Dragon right behind the gate before they even burn it down. This confident in their play.
I would have loved for the Leftovers to move Dehaka to the bot lane faster.
But on the first fight?
On the fight at the keep right now. They needed to get the keep, and once they already gone, on at the top lane and everywhere. You know what's going on. And if you want to be successful with the strategy that they're playing here with this constant push power, I think you have to take that keep down early. Because if they lose the keep and then on the way back they lose a couple of heroes, the Dragon Knight is taken by Liquid, they fall a bit behind in experience, they're still fine. They still have the global, they still have the bottom lane opened up where with a DK they can go for core immediately, where there's constant catapult pressure against Team Liquid. But for all of that to come into play, you need to drop that keep. And them failing to take the keep is going to make this game now very, very difficult.
In that moment, you couldn't be reactive, basically. You had to be the one making the play, and they were trying to react to Leo. Team Liquid, 14-13. Making a play on the Giants, but realizes, okay, leftovers brought off 5. We're going to go ahead and let that go, allow out there to continue to soak here. We'll grab our own Giants just to make sure they don't get close to our keep, which, by the way, that keep on the bottom right has gotten almost to full health. Big explosion zone coming out, but Nurok is able to slip by.
Yeah, we still have Leo in the middle, not even making a move here. He's just going straight up to the top. They don't want to fight here. They have a 2-level advantage. They want to wait for 16. There's absolutely no point for them to fight at this point. Has Fowler on the map too. And if you look at the bottom line and the keep there, it's nearly at 100% HP right now. And the leftovers are just saying, boys, it's now or never. Let's go in. Once they have 16, we can't do anything here anymore. So we have to try and drop that keep while we still can. And it is a small chance, a small hope, but they have very little choice here.
Sport Billy just made a really good play that wasn't flashy. He came in from behind and pulled Dahaka's attention away and showed him that he may get a drag, which allowed a Therno to come back on the Leo after getting a full wave on the top. Small little plays like this only to keep up their defense, but leftovers, they're going for it. You keep mentioning it, they have to go for it. They're going to try and get this keep.
16 is going to be so close. The Mule is still active. They didn't take that down yet either. And now Liquid is just waiting for that last sliver of experience to get the next talent, and they're going to move in for this one. There's the 16, 3-level lead. They have the talent advantage. Liquid, they pop the copy. They start moving in. Dragon Queen is there. DAB in trouble, and he is down.
Nurok gets a kill. Arthas also in the middle of everything here with Army of the Dead. A big march coming in from Eternals. He swings, getting multiple members low. Nurok kiting backwards nicely while Splendor gives him the heal, and that will be the final pickup here as Lauber falls. Alexstrasza, a big, massive dragon, running away from a fight.
Yeah, that is at this point basically already lights out. It was left over as one chance. Make sure you get the keep and then play it from there, and then happen. Liquid bought enough time for level 16, then they engaged immediately into the fight. We had the early Divine Shield on Greymane as well, allowing him to go deep into that backline, taking down, especially of course, Gul'dan. And at this point, they have a massive lead in experience, and they are starting to control every single aspect of this game.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Team Liquid with the aid of a Night Camp is pushing with a dragon on Death Bridge. Unheard of, but when you have a spell armor to help you out, it looks like this could be a strategy that works out for him.
Oh yeah, with the spell armor here, this is definitely going to help you a lot. And at this point, there's also very little outside Gul'dan that really scares you at this point. It's definitely going to be a keep at the top lane, and that's the lane that was assailed by Abathur the entire time. The question is, can they already get more?
Night Camp down. Dragon continues to drop some fire here and there. Lauber gets punted behind enemy lines. He'll have a simple Dragon controls the front line. The Mule coming out from Hasuab, just being a little cute there, trying to get some poke in case Lauber did mount up, but it didn't pay out.
Yeah, as a former StarCraft player, definitely going straight for the Mana Mule here. So he's dropping that. The Dragon Knight is still active for another 10 seconds. Get a couple of breaths of fire in and make sure that you maybe get the tower here, go through the wall a little bit. Sport Billy helps out. More experience is always welcome. They're closing in on level 18 already as is. Kill, of course, also heavily in their face. Gul'dan dropped, and this is, at this point, a disaster. Leftovers came with a really cool and cute idea. I liked it. But the commitment needed to be heavier to the keep at the bot lane if the attempt.
And it looks like this might just be game here, with Team Liquid grouping up all the members in the middle, as well as the minions. Alexstrasza attempting to get some damage in here with the Cleansing Flame. Doesn't really seem to be paying off for them as Nurok grabs the Divine Shield from Splendor, turns around, puts some damage on Polyboss. Polyboss is able to escape for now with low health, but he's having to back at home. Alexstrasza, not so lucky. The dragon will fall, and the core is next.
Yeah, Team Liquid back to old strengths here at this point at least. The leftovers in their first match at HGC, trying a few different things. They don't quite work out for them. A good idea here on Dragonshire, their map choice, but in the end, Team Liquid is able to hold on long enough to finally unfold their own potential with position. They go for the core, and this should be it. Well, can they defend for a little bit longer? 19% on the core, no full commitment here. Would have actually expected Nurok to go a little bit harder for it, but the defense now is at least working out. Good kill by Greymane. Gets the counter kill, dodges everything and moves out. Gets a spray in with a bit of a Nazebo laugh. But at the end of the day, still 2 keeps that have fallen and 19% on the core without the chance to mule.
No, it's still an impressive kill there from Nurok. He was isolated, silenced, and had no vision. Wow.
By Nurok, it definitely was. And I mean, of course, Abathur helps out to an extent, but that was pretty cool. And not only that he got the kill, that he survived as well.
Exactly. Well, Nightcamp being grabbed here by Sport Billy on the right side, keeping that pressure up. Had Greymane fallen, maybe Leftovers would have a play, but with Nurok surviving, everything is looking good for Team Liquid as they move towards level 20.
I'm at this point actually just wondering if they could have just simply have ended the game here.
I don't know. When I was watching Nurok, he had 3 people focusing him down the front.
But it looked to me like if they just get a few more swipes, I mean, it's 19%. If you get a few more swipes in with Abathur in particular, I would have borrowed the slug over and just slapped that core. Either way, right now, you are half a level away from level 20. And if you just look at the situation, oh my god, stops the portals back as we see the backdoor attempt.
That's it.
This is game one way or another.
Team Liquid in game number 3 comes out swinging, stops the Zarya composition, using Abathur and Greymane to full effect, and they'll grab a nice, clean 3-0 over their opponents.
Really well done by them. Clean game. Key was, of course, keeping the keep alive, and they did that well. At that point, I think Leftovers needed to sacrifice a bit more, maybe get their Haka in earlier, not as a reaction. Leoric appearing in the fight, but even early on already, go in, drop the keep, and then maybe lose a hero or two. Once Team Liquid was able to hold on to the keep, mule it up, and then just get the lead in experience, it was already rough.
Still, great to see Team Liquid come out here with their new roster looking confident and get a nice win over Leftovers. Still some promise here from Leftovers, though, in game number 1. Looking wonderful there. Game 2 and game 3. I like that they have decisions that they try to go on. It didn't pan out for in game number 3, but the Zarya play coming in is cool. It shows to me that they, as a team, believe in their draft. It may be a linear draft. They may only have one situation to win on a fort or a keep push, but still, it's something that they are willing to build into. And with experience and learning, this team is going to be great in the entire roster of HGC.
Yeah, personally, I also expect that Team Liquid is going to be one of the teams that will find themselves in the top 4 at the end of the phase. So with that in mind, I feel that Leftovers went up against a team that is definitely not... It's definitely not a direct competitor when it comes to the Crucible, for example. And as we already established, for newer teams pushing into HGC, normally your primary goal is, let's just make sure that we don't drop into a Crucible spot. So at this point, Team Liquid with a clean-cut 3-0, looking really solid here. But as you said, Leftovers, they have a lot of good science here, good stuff. It's the first time they played. They had some problems with Linked in the earlier games. They had a couple of cool moments, though. And it's also, of course, an experience... a bit of an experience problem here as well in their first match. But overall, they have potential, and they've shown that today. Not reflected in the result, but in the gameplay.
Refreshing for me to see Team Liquid having the shot calling too. Splendor, I was keeping an eye on him because you mentioned before this entire phase that Splendor could focus on his own play. He's looked better than he did in the last couple of months in the last HGC. Able to land those Divine Shields, baiting the perfect amount of health on him on his Uther, but still giving his teammates the heals, dying when he needed to bring out those heals as well. Team Liquid, they look like the new roster to keep an eye out for it, guys. Gotta love what they have here, and Eternal, man. Nothing flashy today, except for that one big flank, but holding his lane down.
Yeah, at this point, with the way that they played and the compositions they went up against, his job was play that solid solo laner, do what you have to do, soak the 2 lanes, get the experience, and he never let them down there at any point. So he did exactly what he needed to do. Today, he didn't play any heroes where he had to make the super flashy play, where he had to make the perfect, the Haka burrow and get the Drax in or the isolation. So once that happens, we can talk about it a little bit more. But today, he did everything that the team needed him to do, and that's all he needed to win.
Get experience and don't feed. A lot of our Hero League players at home can learn that lesson from Eternal. Just hold your lane and keep your team in it. It's always great play. And you don't have to be flashy all the time, man. You don't have to be the guy landing the big Cinder Goso when you're a solo tank Arthas. So, with all that being said, done, we're working on getting Hasuabs on the camera here. We're going to talk to him about his new team and his feelings, which I want to know about because this core roster, Nurok, Hasuabs, and Splendor, have been around for a while, but bringing two people on and seamlessly, it seems like adding them to the roster looks like it was an easy task. They played well today.
Yeah, again, the new players in the lineup, it's not that they didn't
Experienced.
know them. They are, first of all, experienced players themselves, and also they have always been close to them. Also helps, of course, that when we're looking at sport, he even speaks in German, so that's also quite nice to have in that setup. But yeah, they are doing just extremely well as a unit. And as we talked before the series, Eternal, for example, is incredibly hyped and says, like, this team just feels right.
Wow. It looks like we have Hasuabs about ready to go here as we're ready to jump on in. Hasuabs, congratulations on your victory. Long time no talk, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, thank you very much. Feeling good, of course. Yeah, welcome to the HGC, to the leftovers, I guess. But yeah, it feels good to start with a 3-0.
I enjoy hearing from you because you usually give us a really good analysis of a situation and where things are. What is the biggest difference between this team that you now have and the team that you had last season?
I think the shot calling is very different, or changed a lot since we have Spot Billy as the main shot caller. Like, we are way more active, proactive in the games, looking for opportunities to find like pickoffs and so on. Though I have to say, like on map 1, you could see that the team was quite nervous. Like, we played way too passive, I think. But I don't know. Like, in the end, we somehow managed to win that map as well. And then the second and the third, I feel like the team overall felt way more confident, and we also played much better, I think, in these two maps.
Well, before I send you over to Caldor, did you think Gainer 1 may have been kind of close because of a certain heroic called Dragon Strike? Or is that some secret strategy that I don't know anything about?
Man, don't you know the combo N2 into Dragon Strike? It kills everyone.
I was ready for it, man.
You got so many kills.
We were all ready for it, but it didn't happen somehow. Like,
Unlucky.
Actually, we were very hesitant to use stuff somehow, and I don't know. Like, as I said, I think we were quite nervous on map 1, and we could have for sure played it much better.
Awesome.
But there was some thought behind it. It just didn't pay out.
Your turn, Caldor.
I was actually pretty hyped to see the combo come out when you guys chose the talents, and every single time I looked at the combo, it just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit, yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming to see the result. But you, as you said, you guys won the map, and you have a clean 3-0 victory here. Overall, what can we expect from Team Liquid in this phase?
I mean, we want to qualify for the offline events. That's our goal. And I mean, that's what we are working for. Like, we practiced so much actually the last 2 months, and we feel that we are in good shape. And obviously, playing against Fnatic and Dignitas will be hard. But I think behind them, that be a position that can take over, and that's what we are working for.
So let me ask you another question about the meta right now, because that has been one of the big talking points that we've seen throughout the community and also for us today as well. We have seen a lot of the plays with Hanzo. You guys played him quite a bit. We've seen him in the previous series. Where would you currently rate him in the draft, and how important do you feel he is to the meta if you compare him to other heroes and maybe dominant heroes as Genji, for example, in the past, who nearly had 100% involvement rates?
So I think Hanzo is very strong. I guess that's very obvious to everyone who plays a lot of Heroes of the Storm right now. Like, in every Hero League game you meet him, and his damage output is probably slightly too high. I believe we will see some kind of a nerf for him. And so about the drafting process, in Europe actually, during the scrims, he was not that high prioritized compared to, for example, Korea right today, what we saw. He was much higher prioritized in draft, so maybe that will change within the next play days actually in HGC. But he is very strong, and you have to respect him. You need sign of answer, or you want to probably ban him actually.
Okay, awesome. One last question for you. You guys already saw the previous series, of course, against Zealots. What is your expectation for tomorrow?
I mean, we want to start with a 2-0. So we are obviously planning to win tomorrow. And I think Zealots looked a bit weaker today than they are. I think they can perform better for sure. They, especially the last map, I think they had a very strange draft. I'm not exactly sure what happened there with the Medivh and the Tyrael, like no real CC. So I think they will do a lot of homework today, and they will be better prepared for tomorrow, I'd say. So it's going to be hard, but I think we can do it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again to you for your victory today. Hopefully you can land your 2-0 as you wish tomorrow. We look forward to seeing that match. But before I let you go so you can go home and prepare for tomorrow's match, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. It's awesome to play HGC again. I was really hyped the last weeks. I really wanted to play again and showing off what the new team can do. And yeah, shout out to all of them. Shout out to Team Liquid, our fans, you guys, and see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. All right, that's it here. Team Liquid gets the victory. As well as them beating Leftovers, they have a big task in front of tomorrow as they have to face off against Zealots. But let's go ahead and look at the schedule here and get a feel for what will be occurring.